Okay, please work. Alright, seems to be working. Let's go. Okay. Alright, so we currently have Typhoon Yagi, also known as Entang in the Philippines, and it's undergoing an eyewall replacement cycle. You can actually see the inner eye starting to fade out within the latest frames, in the outer eye is starting to take hold. It now fully wraps around the center. You can also see it on a closer look here. This is the old eye wall right here, and it's broken on the southwestern side. But all around, there is a strong eye wall, and it's just about to hit Hainan Island, right along here. Thankfully, it isn't that densely populated on the eastern side compared to the, western half. But I mean, still, the whole entire island's gonna get impacts, but the northernmost side of it should get, typhoon force winds at least. Maybe within the next 2 hours or so, it should make landfall. It doesn't seem like it's going to avoid it. Here is going to be the last 3 hours. And as you can notice, the storm has been going north of the cone right now. It's made a wobble to the south, and then it made a wobble right back again towards the north. So using this, you may think that, it should make landfall somewhere on the northern tip of Hainan Island, even if it makes a wobble back over to the west. I don't see it really avoiding it. It should make landfall on Hainan Island. Um, yeah, again, here's your inner eye wall right in here, and then here's your outer eye wall. And I mean, it is absolutely massive. From right across there, it's around 33 miles wide, the outer eye, and then the inner eye is around 15, 16 miles wide. So, yeah, I mean, that outer eye is around double the size, which is also going to spread or make more areas receive impacts. So, this right here, let me try and outline it. Something like that. So, this area right here should be getting typhoon force winds, and as the storm moves gradually this way, you can see the general area and where the eye is. So pretty much pretty soon some of the areas are going to start getting into the eye, but first they'll have to get through the eye wall. Alright, let me just share this real quick. Um, expected within the next 2 hours. Sorry about that. Just sharing the stream. Okay. That's good. I'm going to check YouTube, make sure that's working. Alright, nice. Hi, Quebec Storm Tracking. How are you doing? Alright, new frame just came out on radar. And I mean, it is pretty evident right here that there is a crack in the eye wall, like there's a moat for the second eye. It's trying to merge together, but I mean, you can still see a gap right over here, and little faint gaps all along the eastern side. The northwestern side is likely going to be the strongest. They have two maximum wind radii. But yeah, the eye wall is just beginning to hit the easternmost tip of Hainan Island pretty soon. Let's take a look at satellites. Yep, there it is. I mean, on satellite, you can pretty much see the eye wall impacting the land. But this just shows the tops of the storm. Oh, wow, this is actually... Is that behind? I don't know. I know it's like 15 minutes behind or whatnot. I'll pull up a high resolution imagery on the storm. Uh, Alright, so this is out of date right here, I think. It all has to do with the angle of the satellite. We call it the zenith angle, uh, where the satellite isn't shooting straight down and it's shooting from afar. So it makes it look like the storm's more west than it actually is. Radar will give us the better picture, though, on where the storm's actually located. Quebec Storm Tracking says they're doing good. Yeah, I'm doing fine as well. This will be interesting, though, since it's, well, for me in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., but for them it is 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, or China Standard Time, my bad. Okay, so distance-wise, the storm is around 25 miles. I'm going to change that to kilometers if I can. Just for those who live here. There we go. It's around 40 kilometers away. And let's see how fast it's been moving. It's, of course, been changing speeds. Okay, I would really like to use this. Alright, there it is now, and I'll compare it to where it is now. Alright, so let me use this. It's been moving at around 12 kilometers, 10 kilometers. It's hard to tell. Yeah, I mean, it should be moving faster than that. I don't know why it came up as that. Here, I'll pull up the latest 3 hours, and then we'll use that to determine how far it's gone. This is the latest 3 hours. Let me just get my fingers on it, and then I'll do that. So yeah, it's moving at around 10 miles per hour. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 10, 12 miles per hour-ish. And it is around 33 miles away, so definitely within the next 3 hours it should make landfall. And yeah, you can see the eye wall very close to land on here. It's barely touching, so this would have probably the strongest winds, at least Category 3, at least 115 miles an hour right along here. And also, that's going to be pushing in storm surge. Let's talk about that. Alright, first someone says, it's crazy how this thing rapidly intensified so quick. It's kind of reminding me of Ramasun, except it's more south than Ramasun. Yeah, and also, I do believe, wait, no, I'm confused on this. I'm going to search it up on another window about Ramasun. I do not know if it made landfall at peak intensity. No, I believe it was weakening by the time it made landfall. But yeah, this is very similar. It's hitting almost the exact same area. I know you said it's a little bit south. Hi, Sky. How are you doing? Alright, new frame. There's the eye wall. Right, pushing on shore all along here. And speaking of surge, let's pull that up on here. This is a rough view of the winds with the storm. Let me pull this up. That will probably be better. Let me turn that off. So yeah, you can see this is the direction, roughly, of where the wind is blowing in the storm, and then the colors just indicate the strength. The strength doesn't necessarily matter so much in this one. It's going to be different than what this shows, but this will show you the wind direction and shows where the highest storm surge will be in the storm, and shows what it's doing right now. So you can see on the northern side, they're getting the worst storm surge right now. All the winds blowing this way. But for example, this area, it's a peninsula, I forget the name. This area is getting water pulled out. It's called anti-surge. So they're not getting as much of impact right now, at least. And then same thing with this area right here, all blowing out to sea. But these areas right over here on the northeastern tip of Hainan Island are going to get the most catastrophic surge of the system. I can't give an exact estimate because it varies from place to place. But yeah, let's see. So as we go in time, so this would be around 9 p.m. their time, you can see the surge rushing on the peninsula right here on the eastern side, and also over here on the eastern side of the Hainan Island, you can see the surge being blown onshore. Then over here on the northern tip, you can see the surge continuing there. As I go in time, as the storm passes over here, then it's going to flip. So instead of these areas getting onshore flow, it will now be offshore flow. But that means this area is going to get the worst storm surge at this time. This would be around 2 a.m., so 24 hours roughly. It's going to be a flip. And then, yeah, then the storm's going to be going on to Vietnam, and then it's also going to be impacting mainland China again. Oh, yeah, also, I forgot I'm probably going to have to do another live stream. Let's see the timing of that. This should be within the next 48 hours-ish, I believe. Yeah. Hold on. No, within the next 30 hours or so, it should make another landfall. So it's going to be another all-nighter, at least for me. For them, it's going to be in the daytime, so not exactly ideal. Alright, do any of you have any questions about what the storm's going to be doing? Any other storms around the world? You want my thoughts on? Let me see this. That's not accurate. Okay. Yeah, you can definitely see the eye wall replacement cycle taking place. This tiny eye is now getting absorbed by the larger eye. There's still a break in the southern side and southeastern side. Western side's the strongest at this point. The eye wall is just barely touching Hainan Island. Alright, so someone asked, how's Leap Eye? Let's go over to that system. Where is it? Okay, I could have sworn it's over here. Yeah, it's lost a significant amount of convection. Cloud tops. It's not fully post-tropical just yet. You can see thunderstorms blowing up. This is what's indicating it is not a remnant low. As soon as convection just completely dies out and nothing new forms, it would be a remnant low, and eventually should turn post-tropical, merge with a front. I do not know exactly where that front is, so let me pull that up. Alright, so it'd have to be, I'm going to pull up this and pull up a forecast. Alright, so it's going to have to merge with this cold front right here. This is going to be rushing eastwards, and as that does so, the storm's going to merge with it. Then head northeastwards. So it could become a strong storm, gain gale force winds again. But yeah, I do believe this was a storm for longer than the JTWC had it. It's not I don't know if it's a tropical depression just yet. We had a satellite pass that confirmed it's as a tropical storm still. And its peak was likely stronger. It was likely around 50 miles per hour instead of the 40 they went with. Could be 45. Alright, next question. Someone says that, what peak intensity do you have for Yagi? So realistically, there were 2 peaks. And I'm going to pull that up on another tab and then bring it up here. And I'll show you all what I mean. Okay. Alright, let me pull that up on here. Yagi, okay, where is it? Alright, here it is. So, you could make a case that it did become a Category 5 on the 5th at midnight, 0 UTC. Right around here. I personally have it as 135 knots. I keep it as a Cat 4. I just don't think it maintained it well enough at that peak. That's right, let me go back to here. But it did seem like, it did weaken some, and then it went for another peak. And this secondary peak, which is what has happened recently, let me go back to around here. Okay, so what this satellite tells us is or meteorologists use this kind of satellite and this coloring to determine how strong the storm is. We use satellite to determine the strength. That's what all this stuff is. A satellite estimate chooses or figures out how strong it is, and it's a rough estimate, so sometimes it's inaccurate. But if I pull this up and go back quite a ways, here we go. Is that it? Yep. Okay, let me go back a little bit further. I'm gonna see if I can even pull up the last peak as well. All right, perfect. So, its first peak was right around here. You can see how it fully had a white colored core, or white colored, like, embedding the center, embedding the eye. This wasn't fully wrapped around, and also the eye temperature was just barely this color right here. And that would typically give you a rating of T7.0, which means Category 5. The thing is, it held it for such a short amount of time that an hour later it started collapsing. And 2 hours later it lost this white embed and the eye temperature started to cool, so the eye wasn't as clear. So that's why I have that first peak at 135 knots. Now, it was trying to strengthen, and right around here, at around 12Z to around 18Z, it started, intensifying once again and developed that white core with the eye temperature pretty high. It was up to around like 10, 15 Celsius-ish, so it was way up there in the colors. And so because of that, I do have this secondary peak at 140 knots. Now, speaking of which, what it's doing right now, its intensity, of course, it has weakened. You can see everything starting to fall apart. It is undergoing an eyewall replacement cycle or merger, and so it's hard to tell how strong it is. It is likely a high-end, mid-range to high-end Category 4. I'd say around 145 miles per hour or higher, but it's not a Category 5 anymore, in my opinion. Someone says, oh wow, it's disintegrated a lot over the last day. I think they're talking about Leap Eye. Yep, that storm definitely has. Alright. Next person says, it had an eyewall replacement cycle, pretty sure. Yeah, it did have one. Okay, let me try and see if I can pull this up. Yeah, so this was such a complicated thing to forecast because we saw it had a double eyewall. Now, there is a technique that these storms can pull off that allows them to not waste time completing an eyewall replacement cycle. Typically, what happens is you'll have the inner eye and the outer eye walls. And what happens is this inner eye wall starts falling apart, breaks apart, dies out, and then this outer one takes hold. Now, what Yagi tried to do is it's trying to merge both of them. You can see this one right here, so it's keeping an eye as it does so. Normally in an eye wall replacement cycle, the eye fills in briefly, and then it reforms as a larger eye. This storm, Yagi, decided to do a merger where both of the eye walls are starting to merge in with one another, forming one eye wall. This process is quicker. Famous storms have done that, it's like Irma, Hainan, and that's what Yagi is trying to do. It doesn't seem like it's intensifying, thankfully. if this had another 6 hours, it could have gone in Cat 5 again and complete its eyewall merger, but it doesn't seem like it's going to do that. All right, someone asked, what do you think will happen with the
Also,
non-tropical?
Chase, I'm here.
Yep. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
What's up?
Just, just hi.
Hi. Yeah. All right. I'll share my screen so that you can see what I'm
Yeah,
streaming.
me, yeah, me. 2 in the morning. Not very.
Yes.
Ooh.
2:20 in the morning, and of course the storm just decided to want to make landfall. And of course it's daytime for them, so they have to be awake during it.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna pull up something. Yeah, I want to see the lightning. Windy shows there was a lightning strike in the southwestern eye wall. And I don't know how I'm gonna
I
find out.
wouldn't really be that surprised. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised knowing how intense it is.
Yep.
It is starting to fall apart in that northern quadrant
Yep. I mean, I don't
eye
know.
wall.
Satellite hasn't been painting the full picture. Satellite shows, the northern side being the weaker side, but radar shows the northwestern side and all western side being the strong side, and the eastern side being the weaker of the two.
Ah, yes. Radar and satellite not matching up.
Yep, that's been a
Fantastic.
problem with this. Satellites shows it nearly the eye wall, or eye wall completely onshore, and the eye just approaching land, whereas radar shows it's a bit of ways. And it has to do with the satellite angle. The satellite is pointed like right here, so they're just barely getting the typhoon or barely getting the eye, so it's tilted. It's more west than it actually is. All right, so someone
Need more
asked.
satellites.
Yeah. Someone asked, what do you think will happen with the non-tropical low off the eastern United States? That's 99L. Let's go over to that one. Lots of lightning.
Yeah, out of all the systems in the Atlantic, I have to say, I think that one currently has the highest. Yes, I think that one has a decent shot at least pulling a storm similar to Omar.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what year that was
That
in
was
the
2020,
Atlantic,
I
but
think.
it was lopsided because it was being sheared, and this one's being sheared. Similar story, similar area too.
Yep.
Um, it will probably get to a low end tropical storm and this kind of just
Mm-hmm.
fly up towards the north.
The main issue
And
with
be
is the fact that
it's
it's frontal.
it's just yeah, we'll just have to watch it. I mean, it's possible. It technically has winds of tropical storm
Yep.
force already. It just needs to get the characteristics together.
Mm-hmm. It just needs to shed these fronts. It's embedded in a stationary front. Same thing with the low in the Gulf of Mexico. I did not realize, but that has now become a warm front. Interesting. When did that happen? Okay, that just happened recently. Yeah, that's becoming more embedded in the
Things are
front.
always chasing,
Yep.
always changing.
But yeah, this.
I mean, I love how soon well the one that's in the Caribbean about to go into the Gulf. Love how models only a week ago were showing, like a category 4 or 5 in the
Now they're showing
Gulf.
nothing really.
Classic. Nothing because there's another system in the Gulf,
Yep,
and
that's
who knows what
probably
that's
gonna
gonna do.
take or beat the other one. Honestly, it's hard telling where
That
it's gonna go.
one low has just that one low I think is gonna form into something, just how
Mm-hmm.
long it's been sitting
Yep.
over the Gulf and just kind of looping there.
The
And
main
good
issue though
thing
is it's
with it
frontal right
is
now.
it's
That as well.
yeah.
But most subtropical systems are at the end of a front, so that's what this is right here.
Yep.
It has a lot less work to do than this system right over here, which is going to be extremely embedded in fronts, especially right around Saturday morning. Here, let
Oh,
me see
how
if I can pull
sad.
up. And it doesn't have much time. I mean, it's gonna try and go. Oh, let's see. Latest. Oh, never mind. Okay. I thought it was dissipating. The forecaster around 9 to 6 hours ago had it dissipating, and then they re-added the front. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not so sure on this system developing. It doesn't have convection over the center right now. It's mainly all because it's frontal. All the convection's firing along the
And
fronts.
being sheared.
Yeah, yep,
It's having a double whammy.
yeah. Let me actually pull up
Yeah.
Ram B. Let me see this. Trying to pull up the shear. Since it's invested, I can actually see. Where would I go here? Oh man, okay, shear is through the roof with this system. My god, it's like 40 knots. That is not good. It will lower though, but it's still going to be unfavorable. So shear should lower briefly, but this is what you need to be favorable. So, and this is like neutral, so it's just barely reaching the neutral phase. Sea surface temperatures, of course, are going to go off a cliff pretty soon, and then dry air is going to get to it. So not that good right now. What about
Yeah.
90L? I do feel like the system does have a decent shot at snagging a name. Oh boy, okay. I am not taking a look at this. Shear's gonna skyrocket pretty soon to an unfavorable amount, but then it seems like it could drop down, which is nice, but that's gonna be 4 days from now, so I don't know what it's gonna be doing at that time.
If it can even hold on to its low by that point,
Yeah. It's gonna be facing some
because
drier
by
air
that
from Mexico.
one issue is I wouldn't be so concerned about its low, like its low. Jesus Christ! Can I can I say anything today?
Oh my
Its
god.
low is going to be intercepted by the other storm.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So
pull that
if
up.
there's a shear in coming, uh, which
Yeah,
one
that's
becomes more
why.
dominant?
That's exactly why. Um, Here's the icon model that shows it pretty well. Right here, and if I pull up maybe this, I'm trying to pull up like a shear map here. Let me see if the GFS shows it any better. Oh, not really. Alright, so basically one system's outflow is going to be the other system's inflow or whatnot, so it's just going to be a bunch of shear. They're both going to be killing each other off, which is not good at all.
Yep, sounds like the normal day in the Atlantic.
hmm It should help to enhance some spin, though, eventually. It just shouldn't get much strong. It has to absorb the other low before it finally does whatever it wants to. But of course, the front is
Yep,
what is dragging it southward. It is moving along with the front. As soon as that front's gone, it
yeah.
should try and move back northwards. This doesn't really show it. It's hard to forecast these systems. Yeah, the Weather Prediction Center doesn't really know what it's going to do. They want it's going into Mexico.
Models are all over the place. Actually, a majority of what I was seeing is they want the system to go scraping up, like that other tropical storm that we had, scrape up the coast.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like yeah, barrel.
A barrel,
Um,
yep.
that was the only one that did that.
Yeah.
Uh, scrapes up the South Texas coastline all the way up into the Houston area.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that's kind of what I've been seeing. Uh,
Yeah.
one problem with it being near the South Texas area, that area is prone to storm surge.
Mm-hmm. Alright, someone says 99L is within the front entirely, so it either has to break away from the front very quickly or the fronts have to dissipate rapidly. Yeah, it is really embedded. in the front, so it doesn't have much time either. The only thing it really has going for it is the sea surface temperatures. Alright, I'm gonna try and pull that
Yeah.
up. If I can find it. There we go. Alright, it's around 28 Celsius. I know that the scale looks completely broken, the color. Yeah, I mean, it has a good amount of time up until the latitude around New Jersey. Before then, it has to weaken. I mean, who knows? Ernesto was actually
Yep.
strengthening up here, so it could try to develop. I don't see it happening. It can't form a core really that quickly from this. Alright, someone asked,
Yeah.
is Yagi a Category 5? No, not yet. Well, no, no. It likely was, but it is
Hope
weakening
not.
now. Its eye wall is not fully intact, and it's trying to develop a new one. Okay, let me drag this. Alright,
Or
there we
eye
go. The
wall
western
is
eye wall is now over
degrading.
land. Right over here. I don't think there's really any cameras there. Let's see.
Like always on the other side of the world,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see a single
for the
camera
most part.
available for the entirety of Hainan Island. Wow.
Let's be fair. If it's next to China, there's not going to be cameras there.
Yeah. I mean, at least Hong Kong has it, but nowhere else over here. So it's pretty hard to tell what's going on. I mean, at least we have radar, though. That will tell us, where the eye wall is. This area is getting hammered with storm surge right now. Even though it's not a Category 5, a Category 4 is still extremely bad.
Yeah. The what were the me trying to think here. Surge
Someone
levels.
says if Yagi makes landfall on Hainan Island as a Category 4 equivalent typhoon, she would be only the fourth storm to hit the island at that strength in the satellite era. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's going to do it. It would be the fourth, and it seems like it's about to do it. And it would be in about
and
less than 2 hours.
10 seconds later, people feel a cat 5.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I don't think the eye is going to clear out in time. Also, it's going to be facing land interaction. The western eye wall's the strongest right now, and it's moving over land, so that's going to be weakening. I mean, it is fairly
Watch the
marshy
storm
over
pull
here.
a. Watch the storm pull. No you,
Hmm.
and just
Someone says, did
keep
you
on
hear about the new
developing
wave
halfway
near
into landfall.
Micronesia? Micronesia. I think it's Micronesia's over here somewhere. Actually, why am I pulling up this? I'll use this. I think they're talking about 95W. This is going to be something to watch very closely over the next week or two. Models have been extremely consistent on this becoming something big in the open Western Pacific. It's hard telling what it's going to do, but it should become a significant storm. Here's the latest GFS ensembles within the next 10 days. You see, they do have consistent support up to 10 days, right here in the general direction on where it should go. The next 72 hours is going to be key on, like, before it actually develops. Maybe within the next 72 hours it starts developing, and then it's going to decide where to go from there. There's a lot of possibilities, so really
So,
everywhere should be on
so
guard.
it's ranging. Yeah, it's ranging from anywhere from Japan again,
Japan to
which
the
they really don't
Philippines,
need. They're not.
basically.
Yeah, they don't. Japan really doesn't need another storm.
Yeah, they've been hit so much this year. Yeah, some of these ensembles want it down all the way to 930 millibars. Below that, so I've seen some with like 800 something. So that's been
Ah,
crazy.
yes. Well, yeah, pulling your hypo animations.
Yeah, it's pretty hard telling what it's gonna do, but it should be at least a storm. I feel like I'm pretty confident on that. Not within the next 5 days, but within the next 7 to 10 days. See, it all has to do about these monsoonal messes in the Fujiwara interactions where storms circle around one another. This model, the Canadian, wants a little trough of low pressure to form right here, which will circle the storm around it, leading it towards Taiwan and the Philippines. It's hard
Really,
saying what it's going to do. Like 10 days out, you can't really predict that well. All we know is that it should do something. The German
something.
model, yeah, the German model, once it's staying more south than the others, Guam should be watching this closely. It should get there within the next 5 days. Definitely a
Dear
rainmaker.
God, we
But
don't.
yeah,
We don't need a another one to smash into Guam after which one was it?
uh,
Not too long ago.
Mawar, I think.
Yeah, that was not a good system.
All right, let's see. Someone says,
Whatever.
did Yagi peak as a Category 5? All right, so that's something that's it's all opinion based because we don't have recon data that's public.
Chase being Chase, he's saying it's Cat 5.
Hmm.
Let's just say
It
that.
was, I think. There is an argument to make that it had two Cat 5 peaks. I have the first peak at 135 knots. I just didn't see it maintaining as well, but I do believe this was a Cat 5 peak. Pressure was in around the 910s, so that does support it pretty well. Recon did get an eye intercept, so I'd like to know how strong the winds they got, but it's not public. And someone says Invest 95W could be the next big thing in the Westpac. Yep, definitely. And then someone in the YouTube
Every
things.
single time I
Mhm.
see, every single time I see a storm, the early runs that are, casually losing their mind
Yeah, every
somewhere
time
in
there's
the
an invest or whatnot.
models,
Yeah, like the
especially in the Westpac.
GFS.
Is this gonna be Hainan 3.0 now?
Yeah,
Because Goni was pretty much Hainan, just to the
2.0.
north.
Yeah.
Now we need
Alright.
one to hit right smack dab in the middle of the film. I should say that.
Alright, someone says the remnants of Hone still exist as a little swirl. Yes, they do. They're
I will.
still going on. Now, the difficulty is trying to find it. I think this is it. Let me just make sure. Yep, this is it right here. It could have repeaked as a subtropical depression in the western Pacific. Let me find out when that was. Alright, it was probably right around here that it peaked as a subtropical depression, briefly. And then it started
I still
weakening.
can't believe that thing went. Still can't believe that thing went a hurricane.
Yeah, here it is though.
I was expecting a tropical storm at max,
Yeah,
not a
Hurricane
hurricane.
Hone has a nice ring to it
That
though.
could. Ah, yes. That's
Alright, someone
fine.
said, do you think the Caribbean disturbance and 9DL combine into a storm and take a path towards Houston or Louisiana border? Like we said earlier, that's a really
Possibly.
difficult thing to forecast. It could happen. It could very well happen. The German model, the
Could.
Icon, wants that to occur. But it all depends on how this interaction occurs. Combining storms is not good for systems. We've seen this happen multiple times. It does not create a superstorm when two systems combine. They try to tear each other apart. So if these systems are both at around equal strength, that is not going to be good. They're going to be consistently fighting and circling around one another. If the Gulf of Mexico one is able to form quick enough, which I feel like it has a chance to do so, it will have a better shot at taking over the Caribbean disturbance. And then in theory, it should get dragged northwards. Now, I do not know why it gets dragged northwards. It just, models show that.
Models being models
I guess it's a
for right now.
trough right there. Yeah, I guess it's hard telling. I don't really know
Mm.
what's moving it. It doesn't have a lot of steering currents, so that's an issue.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's why
now
it's
I see why.
barely moving.
Yep, now I see why. We have a ridge right around here that's going to be trying to bring it northwards. Yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
right around now we could see this ridge over Florida right now, and it's pulling the Caribbean disturbance into into the Gulf of Mexico. And for some reason, or no, actually I know why, the front is dragging the system southwards. So when the front dies, the system will want to move back northwards because of the high pressure. Actually, yeah, that ridge dies due to a trough over the Michigan, which is going to cause a waterspout galore pretty soon. Where the ridge coming up all the way from Greenland right here is going to affect where the system moves. You can see the ridge right over here. It's a long one right over here, and that's going to be dragging the disturbance towards Texas and Louisiana. So, I mean, it could, but the main thing is, does it develop? Um, the systems, if they're fighting each other, it's going to be difficult. But yeah, vorticity could be enhanced by that interaction. We'll see. It's hard telling
Mhm.
which one wins. We can see two vortices right here. Can't really tell which one wins out of the two. Okay, let's see what's next. Does anyone else have any questions? What do you think of Cyclone Asna, which dissipated a few days ago? That was weird. Um, it was over India for quite a while, and it was likely a land depression for quite a while as well. Um, Definitely stayed a disturbance for a while. It moved all the way from like Myanmar across the country of India, um, and brown ocean effects enhancing the circulation, convection. So I do think it peaked as a tropical storm, right around here-ish, 50 miles an hour. Its remnant low phase was pretty cool since it was right next to a desert, so it didn't have much thunderstorms at all. Okay, so let's take a look at the storm right now. Oh god, okay. There's the eye approaching land there, but on here's the more realistic thing. You can see the merger taking place. The western side is almost fully combined. The eastern side, northern side isn't as much. It's trying. It is trying, though. Alright, so let's see. I have it at 90 minutes until landfall. I don't know how accurate that is going to be. We'll see. Alright, it is around, as of 2:45, is around 27 kilometers away. I'm going to convert that to miles real quick. 17 miles. Yeah, I'd say 90 minutes is an accurate estimation. It's going to be hitting down here, so it's going to be hitting pretty soon. The eye is around 11 kilometers away from approaching Hainan Island. Oh, so there's a bunch of tinier islands over here. Don't think there's people on it. I could be wrong. And they're getting into the middle of both eye walls. Here's the inner eye wall, here's the outer eye wall. So I don't think it's a Category 5 right now. It is still a Category 4. I'm going to take a look at the latest models. See what they want. This one wants a landfall at around 6 o'clock. I don't think that's going to be happening that late. This one right here wanted it around 7 yet. You see, they want it going more north. It does seem like, let me at least play a loop. It does seem like it's at least gonna hit here. I can't really see it making a wobble to the north. Actually, it could. There's a possibility it makes a wobble to the north and avoids Hainan Island. I mean, it's already been wobbling more to the north. But when storms wobble, they'd like to wobble back to the other direction. So this could easily wobble back to the south. Yeah, the gradual movement is going to be west-northwest, right around here. And this does have, of course, huge implications on where it goes if it hits Vietnam or if it hits China again. If it takes this path and stays north the whole way, that would hit China again. But it does seem like Vietnam's going to be hit, and it should be a Category 2 by the time it does so. Now, we do have radar, so that's good. We do have a camera, multiple cameras it seems like, so that will make the coverage a lot better. Alright, let's see if anyone else has any comments on it. Oh, not recently. Okay, but yeah, the western eye wall is now progressing further inland into Hainan Island. The inner eye wall, which is basically broken up on this side, is also approaching land right now. But you can see the entire core and how large it is. It's been lacking on the southeastern side. This is the area with typhoon force winds. Here, I can actually pull it up on here probably. Yep. Yeah, you can clearly see the core being mainly right around here. Now that is going to be the typhoon force winds, and let's track it as we go on. So you can see the mainland China and the peninsula there, they could receive typhoon force winds. It's not really going to wobble anymore to the south, but if it stayed westwards, it could avoid it. But yeah, most of northern Hainan Island is going to receive typhoon force winds. And then, of course, it could be a larger storm by the time it reaches the Gulf of Tompenka. I don't remember the name, sorry. But yeah, because of this eye wall replacement cycle, it's going to try and become a larger system. Especially if this fractures the core, it is going to be trying to wrap around as a larger storm by the time it makes landfall. Also, you can see all the cells on the northeastern quadrants that could become tornadic. And also, there is a massive thunderstorm to the southwest. It's blowing up a load of convection right over here, to the point where it's overshooting tops right now. Right there. So, an overshooting top, if you all don't know what that is it's literally the storm just bursting convection so high up into the air that's, here, if I have a chart right around here, just imagine this is a chart and this is heights in the atmosphere. As you go up, the temperature cools, and it goes basically on this colored table, it goes down. And right as you reach the stratosphere, at a high enough altitude, your temperatures are going to start warming again. So when convection reaches the stratosphere, they'll start warming, and that's why this area is warmer, even though it's the center of the convection.
I'm only going to be on here for like a few minutes.
Alright, that's fine. There's a massive thunderstorm to the southwest. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh, yeah, that's been firing continuously.
Yeah. Alright, so how strong do you think the storm is right now?
I think Yagi's probably still about 130 knots.
Alright.
could be even a little stronger. The system is it really didn't weaken much during its replacement cycle because it's over extremely warm water.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's going to be intensifying?
It'll be probably maintaining or intensifying slightly into landfall.
Alright. And how long do you think until landfall? I have around 90
Given this
minutes.
imagery, maybe an hour,
Alright, nice.
maybe a little lower an hour. What I'll say is I think this landfall, in terms of what it's actually going to do to the system, is not as harmful as what it was expected to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, for this viewing, this was expected to make landfall more so in the Lacehao Peninsula, or maybe even further south into central Hainan, but instead it's making landfall between the two and far northern Hainan, which is actually quite flat, similar to the Yucatan Peninsula.
Yep.
And
It's going to go back over water pretty soon.
yeah, and the Gulf of Tonkin is
Gulf of Tonkin.
extremely warm. It's 31.5 Celsius and has a very high, well, not very high, but has just enough TCHP to help support a strong system.
So do you think it could
So
re-intensify?
I think you could briefly re-intensify. Now, if it's over for more than like 12 to 15 hours, then it's going to start weakening because it's going to upwell.
Yeah.
But
But I
I
mean, it
think a
is moving fairly
brief,
fast, right? Or it's not moving
yeah, but
slow.
I'm saying it really only has maybe 15 hours over that water before it starts to upwell itself and ruin its chances of re-intensifying before landfall.
Yeah. Also, it's been going a lot further north than the cone showed, so I mean, it's made a wobble back to the north. Originally made a wobble to the south, and now it's kind of corrected it.
I think actually there's a good chance that it only clips that. And if it
Mm-hmm.
only clips it, it might stay over the water. Which, if it stays over the water, this could be catastrophic. You could have um, if it shoots through that strait for the most part, you could literally have a system of high-end Cat 3 or Cat 4 emerging into the Gulf of Tonkin.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that it's gonna
Because,
make a landfall pretty soon.
yeah, it'll make a landfall, but it's only
But
barely.
then we'll go
And if
back over water. Yep.
you know what it's the same thing as, Chase?
What?
It's pretty much the same kind of landfall as having something only hit the northeast tip of the Yucatan Peninsula.
Yeah. Not much.
Yeah, it might only chip like 20 knots off of the system, which really isn't much.
Yeah.
And it's different than what it would have been if it was the same kind of eye as before. It's a pretty small eye wall, pretty robust. Or not pretty small, it's
It's
a
not
pretty
small.
decently sized eye wall.
Yeah. It's around like
So,
20 to 30 miles wide. Like the
yeah.
eye. The main eye, I think. Actually, is it
Oh.
doing a merger right now?
Well, it has been. It looks like it's pretty much completed it. Let me go.
I can still see the
Let
inner
me
eye
go
wall.
to. Um, yeah, I mean, the inner eye wall and the
Keeps
outer eye
circling
wall,
around it.
it's not even that they're interrupting each other anymore, it's that they're kind of just assimilating into one. So in
Yeah.
that case, they are kind of merging.
Alright.
But they're not interrupting each other anymore. They're acting as one win maxima, which is the thing.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to weather.com.cn, okay?
Alright, what does that do?
It's very, very high resolution radar.
Weather.com/cn?
.com.cn. It's much higher
Okay.
resolution. Okay, I'll show you where you need to go, okay? And then, um, so I'll show you, click on these three options for radar, and it'll get you to the one you need to go to, okay?
Alright, I'm on English. Now, okay. What do I do?
Oh, you actually changed to English? Okay.
Yep, now what do we click?
Click on, scroll down, it should show you. More.
This right here?
Oh, you see radar? Click radar here. You'll be in here at 3 a.m. Okay, so
Yeah, it should load. Does it take a while?
it might take a while. This part usually takes a little bit.
Okay.
Is it loading?
I mean,
Refresh the page one more time.
yeah, okay, let me do that. Oh, there we go. Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Now what?
I'll go up. Click on the second. See the top one? Second option. Yeah, single station.
Alright, single station. Which one? Oh, sorry.
Hi. It should say Hainan. Yep. There you
Okay,
go.
this one. And then which one's city?
And then you want to go to the farthest left one.
Oh, Haikui, my bad. Let me go to that one.
Haiku. Yeah.
There we go. Oh, wow. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I'm gonna stay in here for a couple more minutes and explain some more things, and then I'll hop off.
Alright.
So, what I'll also explain, you can now see in a lot better detail what the inner eyewall structure looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually see, though, as well, that compared to earlier, it's a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
The whole system is.
Isn't it supposed to get
Now,
larger?
well, it's already starting to kind of grind itself a little bit against this land, so it's already
Alright.
starting to lose a little bit of mass.
Yeah.
Now, note that approaching landfall during its hybrid hour replacement cycle. By the way, this is a hybrid. This is not a merger hour replacement cycle. It's a hybrid.
Alright.
So, main cut, Mawar. Like, think of systems that have done extremely clean hour replacement cycles where the eye never, ever, ever clouded over,
Yeah.
which is what this is.
Yep.
That's what a hybrid is.
Alright.
If this had 12 more hours, what you would eventually see is you would see fractures starting to appear around this inner eye here, and it would basically just open up into a larger size eye
Yep.
naturally. That's what main cut did. But
Mm-hmm.
this one would be even a little bit different. It might not even be fractures. It might literally, this looks like a really clean one where it probably would just expand.
Yep.
So, yeah, let me take a look at IR.
Yeah, I mean, the eye never really clouded over at all.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very, very, very natural, very healthy hour play cycle. Let me take a look at the eye temp as well, because it might give me an idea of just how healthy it is. 8C on Himawari. Yeah, I mean, during an hour play cycle, almost no system ever stays at that warm of an eye temp.
Yeah.
Like, it's unheard of.
Remember Barrel completely clouded over?
Barrel completely clouded over. But it was actually kind of a clean year to see, though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was really fast when it clouded over and then
Yeah.
cleared.
I think there are other systems that have been faster than this one, but not as clean as this one, if that makes any
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy for an operating like what you're showing right there. That's
Mm-hmm.
just nuts.
Here, I'm gonna pull up the. They should have the mesosector. Yep, here we go.
Let me see what people have been saying as well. And
Yeah, you can see part of the eye actually going over land now on satellite. Radar is
yeah,
behind, I'm guessing, right? What do you think?
well,
This is what satellite shows, and this is what radar shows. You see the difference?
uh, oh wow,
So I don't know which one's more accurate at this point. I'm guessing satellite.
no radar would be more accurate.
I mean, like timing wise. I don't know what time this radar is.
I would say in this case, radar is probably just slightly more accurate than satellite is.
Alright. It seems like it's behind, though.
Maybe
Yeah, it is.
slightly.
It's around 23 minutes behind. Oh no, actually, it's around 18 minutes behind.
Let me take a look.
So if I go 18 minutes ago at around, or actually, let me go 2:42 as the
I'm
time.
gonna go look at a farther away radar too and see if I can get more updated data.
Yeah, here it is. This satellite image is exactly what the radar's showing. You see this right here?
Yeah.
And then now it's moved closer to the point where part of the eye is over land. Is there a
I wouldn't
way
even
I
say
can
part of the eye.
access... Huh?
I wouldn't even say it's part of the eye yet. I'd say it's just in the inner eye wall.
I mean, I could see it clearing up over there on the far western side.
Maybe very barely, but I doubt that's actually in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. What were you asking then?
Okay, let me think about what I was gonna say. On Ramby, you know this website with like this specific one.
Yeah.
Is there a way to access mesosectors? Can I do it through here?
Mesosphere? I'm not sure because I don't use this.
Mm-hmm. Mesoscale, please work, please work. Yes! Oh my god, let's go. Alright, so this, yes, okay, this is showing me fast imagery. This is what I was trying to find. I didn't know that this was a thing.
Yeah.
So this shows the zenith angle that it's going through. If I, okay, let me add a map with borders. Alright, I would appreciate it if this worked.
Because the eye is now a little larger, zenith angle isn't
Sorry, sorry.
as much of an issue.
Oh my
In
god.
general, what I've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, obviously it's putting the storm in the wrong spot, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I've what I've basically been doing is to calculate zenith angle and what it's doing to the eye temp. I've
Mm-hmm.
been adding between about 5 and 8 Celsius
Alright.
to what it's showing for the eye temp. Maybe now that it's a little further away, maybe a little bit more, or like 6 to 9 degrees Celsius.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the actual eye temp is.
Yeah.
There's a different satellite called GeoCompsat 2A,
Let me pull that up. Yeah,
GK2A.
this.
I don't know if it shows that.
Yeah, it does. This is
GK2A
it.
has much less zenith angle. So there, yeah. What is it showing for eye temp? Can you find it?
Uh, let's see. Not really. I can't pull up exact temperature, I don't think. Let me see if I do this. I can see this right here, but I can't pull up a specific pixel, I don't think. No, I can't.
That's fine. But yeah, it gives you a better idea of
Yep. And let me compare
eye
that to
temperature.
land. So this should show me a better idea on where the storm's located. It is out of date though, so that's an issue. I
Yeah.
wish this was up to date and I can go super resolution zoom. Alright. Yep, there's lands. This was around 35 minutes ago. Alright, let me pull up this again. Do you know of any websites where I can zoom in, like high resolution on a mesosector imagery?
I mean, you can do cyclonic and Depaya, but
That one doesn't really allow me to zoom in super much, or so much.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure
Alright.
for this.
this was around 10 minutes ago, this frame, and I do think that part of the eye is overland at this point.
I think in about 10 to 20 minutes, then. That's actually going to be a lot quicker than I thought if that's the case.
I'm gonna change the timer. I'll bring it down to 30 minutes then. Let me fix this.
Yeah, it could even be quicker, but
Yeah.
I'm tired, so that's why I thought it was going to be so long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, I literally randomly woke up in the middle of the night and it's 3 a.m., so,
Wow, okay.
yeah.
And then what time do you think it's gonna make its next landfall in, Vietnam or China?
Probably maybe 18 to 24 hours from now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me
This
take a
was,
look at the zero guidance,
yep,
because I actually haven't gotten to take a look at that.
yep, it does want it to make landfall before 8 a.m. our time. Or tomorrow, like the next day, 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And it should still
The
be a typhoon,
expectation
right?
off of the halves. Oh my goodness. The expectation off of the halves
Let me pull that up.
is
Which
for
one are you looking at?
still a 105 knot typhoon.
Which one are you looking at? A or B? Oh, it's gotta be A then, right?
A. Yeah.
Dang,
Stage Wharf wants
911
a
millibars. Wow. First,
Stage Wharf wants a Cat 4 on the Gulf of Tonkin.
wow. Why doesn't it have satellite? Like, it shows it as an option,
I'm
but it
not
doesn't work.
sure. I don't think it's really supported. There
Alright.
are there are I know if you contact Ben on Twitter, like
Mm-hmm.
Zeb or whatever, he posts all of the
Yeah.
polar imagery. He oftentimes will post half modeled satellite simulations.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this thing ramped
yeah,
up
I'm gonna
really
hop off here
fast.
though.
Alright. Thank you for your help, though.
Oh, by the way, don't trust those initializations. They're
Yeah.
terrible. But
Yep.
yeah.
Alright, see ya.
Alright. I'll see you.
Alright, so yeah, this thing ramped up pretty fast in the matter of 24 hours. But yeah, this shows the rough idea. This is more south than forecasted, keep that in mind. But the system, it does want it to still be a Category 3 or Category 4 in the Gulf of Tonkin, which is not good. It does want it to make landfall at around 11 o'clock. Not this cycle, not the next. I don't know. It's the third cycle. I know time zones are pretty much the same. Whenever I say 3 o'clock, it's 3 o'clock for you as well, but PM or AM difference. And then, yeah, it should eventually move into Vietnam, no matter what. Oh man, it is hard telling when it's gonna make its landfall. I mean, that looks very close in my opinion. Yeah, it's almost there. Oh, here we go. Here's infrared. Yeah, I mean, that is awfully close. Okay. Keep in mind, this was 9 minutes ago, so it's hard telling when the landfall's gonna be. Yeah, radar doesn't paint the full picture of it. Right now, satellite does do a better job, and even this is still out of date. Yeah, this is roughly 20 minutes out of date. And you can see the eye was just approaching. So yeah, the eye should be over parts of far northeastern Hainan Island. Also, you can see this thunderstorm down here blowing up. But yeah, do any of you have any questions about the storm? Shear should not be a problem. It's going to get more moist. Sea surface temperature is not a problem. Typhoon Mawar is stronger than Haiyan by pressure? What? Alright, I'm gonna pull that up on another thing. Typhoon Mawar. And then Typhoon Haiyan. Alright, so I don't know how much I believe that to be the actual case on what happened. I feel like pressure is underdone for Haiyan, probably. But yeah, that's weird. Thanks for pointing that out. Alright, do any of you have any questions about what's going on? Well, this is very out of date. Okay. It's hard finding good imagery. Whoa, okay, the eye's clearing out again. Alright. The eye briefly got to 13 Celsius. It's clouding up, but that is expected. The southeasterns, you can see this wrap around. Let me see if I can just keep playing it. Happening right over here. But yeah, the northern side's exposed, at least on satellite. We'll see how long. I mean, the whole storm's been starting to fade out. You can see how wide it was before compared to now. Someone says, will the storm last long? Now, what is your definition of long? Because long has very many different interpretations. In this case, it's going to die eventually. It should die within like the next 3 days. That, in my opinion, is not very long. If you're talking about last as a higher intensity for a while, that could happen. It's going to thread the needle between the peninsula and Hainan Island, reach the Gulf of Tonkin, which could support in maintaining or even intensifying. So, I mean, it could probably last as a major typhoon for quite a while. Going to be definitely interesting to watch. Yeah, not 2 weeks. But now, if you're saying something about 2 weeks, let me point out another system. This bad boy right over here, known as 95W. This is going to be very interesting. Okay, no models are out on it, mainly. So this system, if I can pull it up, is going to be lasting for quite a while. It is going to be this system right over here. This high pressure is going to be funneling it this way. We know that for sure. It's going to be moving this way. Now there's going to be a big split right around Guam. This is in around 5 days or so. Now does it keep moving north or does it keep going west? Those have two very different outcomes. The GFS wants it to head towards Japan, but it has a ridge right over here that's keeping it from going there, so it curves it westwards. But also, if that ridge was weaker and the storm was stronger, it would guide it towards Japan. Now, if it goes more south, it's going to go towards the Philippines and Taiwan. Now, notice as well as that the pressure is low around here. as well, which means that this acts as a little low to funnel this towards Taiwan. So this is going to be a very complex forecast. But the GFS then wants it to be pulled by the high pressure over here, and then bring it towards Korea. So this system is going to last for probably, maybe at most 2 weeks. So that's going to be something interesting to watch. And then, the Western Pacific's going to be very active these next 2 weeks. So this is going to definitely be a basin to watch. It mainly has to do with the MJO, or rising air, to allow for tropical development. That's why the Atlantic has been so dead. Also, I have noticed that the ensembles wanted, it may look like on Yagi that it wants it to curve back over water. Now, the reason I think it's doing that is it has a low pressure. These lines track the lowest pressure. And since it's dying out over lands, the ensembles that have it over water are going to be winning. So that's why the black line has it doing that. I don't see that happening. I think it's going to die out somewhere over Vietnam. Yeah, this will certainly be interesting. Typhoon force winds, let me pull that up. If I follow this closely, I do something like this. And don't worry, I'm going to be following. Can I move? Okay, no. Let me see. Oh, nice, hold on. Let me fix this. Alright, I'm going to be drawing both of these to try and show you all what's going to happen in terms of the wind field and what wind impacts could occur. I know that this is going to look awful, but just bear with me. Alright, so I know this looks atrocious. So this center line is going to be the typhoon force winds. Now let me boot this up a little bit north to around here. This is likely what's going to be happening. So some areas in the peninsula right over here should be receiving typhoon force winds. Instead of a could, it should be likely. Damaging winds is going to be the second line right over here. But yeah, all of Hainan Island should get at least tropical storm force winds. Seems like half of it should get damaging, and then a small bit get typhoon force winds. Someone says, what do you think of last year's Hurricane Dawn? Hurricane Dawn was pretty interesting. I remembered thinking that the National Hurricane Center wasn't going to name it in time during its first peak, so we almost thought we had a 90 or 01L 2022 situation where they don't name something that's nameable. I'm sorry. But turns out it did eventually become a hurricane. That was interesting. I was not really expecting that. But I mean, it was quite a beautiful system with its eye. Alright, so it does seem like the system is making landfall. I'm going to lower the countdown to 5 minutes. Let me fix this. So it's definitely quickly sped up its landfall process. Right around here, and the eye is pretty clear. It's around 10 Celsius. It's all around here. Typically your eye temperature will be somewhere in this range, but no, it's all the way this warm. It's pretty clear. Let's take a look at visible. Yep, there it is, very close. You can see the yellow color of the eye. It is interesting to see the sky get darker. Here's 3:20 p.m. for them. Yeah, radar here is behind. This is around 20 minutes behind. Alright, let's see latest satellite imagery. You can see that eastern side wrapping around, which is not good, by the way. They're going to be hit by the eastern side as well, which is not good. Yeah, you can just see how warm the eye is, and it's now part of its overlands. This isn't as up to date as what I was showing you all earlier. This is going to be the most up to date imagery. So within the next 3 minutes, it should make landfall. Keep in mind this imagery is also out of date by around 9 minutes. So it's basically gone from this to that, and if you add another 9 minutes from this to that, then that's where we are now. So it should be very close to landfall. Yeah, you can see how close that is. So yeah, if you tag on like another 12 minutes to this imagery, it should have made landfall. Let me see if anyone else is doing any position updates or whatnot. Alright. So yeah, anyone have any final questions about what's going on? Okay, Dvorak rating. Now this is a real pain to do. When it's not solid like this, it's very difficult to get a Dvorak rating on it in doing subjective, because it has to embed in a full color. This is not white, even though it's close. This is not fully black because it's broken over here, but it's close. So realistically, I'm going to go off screen real quick and pull it up. I'm going to pull up what the rating would be just by using this. Keep in mind it's not going to be accurate. So the eye temperature is going to be warm medium gray, surrounding colors B, so it'd be around T 6.0. This would be around 130 miles per hour, so minimal Cat 4. But storms don't weaken that fast. This is likely 150 miles per hour at this point. Also, you can see the overshooting tops right around here, and how the temperature actually warms up and it forms its own little eye. Eye temperature has warmed to 11 degrees Celsius. And let me see if I can get a new frame on it. Nope, this one's still around 12 minutes ago. Okay, here we go. Here's the newest frame. I'm sorry. There we go. So yeah, I mean, it's extremely close to landfall. And let's see, what is it showing? Yep, sorry, landfall. My bad. I know that popped up. My bad. Alright. Let me fix that. I'm sorry. Just... Alright, I guess I'll declare it a landfall. Let me see if I can get this to update. Ooh, nice. This is even more up to date. Yeah, look at that. That storm, it has made landfall now. Alright, I'm gonna make a post about it real quick. Alright, so we make one final post on Twitter about it. Okay. Sorry for all the typing noises, I know. Okay. Sorry about that. Alright. Alright, let's take a look at Lepi. See how that's doing. Alright, so it had convection blowing up. Yeah. I mean, the convection should not sustain, but I mean, it's still blowing up some, so I don't have it as a remnant low just yet. Also, this is satisfying right here, this line of clouds fading out. Alright, so let me give you all a summary from what's going on across the tropics right now. There's a lot to cover. So before we go, let's talk about least concerned to most concerned. Oh, this just came out recently. Oh, okay. I did not notice this. Alright, so first we have this system right over here, which is a 0-10% chance. I had it that's as of my latest outlook. It's mainly the GFS that has something developing out of it. Nothing much. Now the next system is also going to be off of Africa. This system, which will be something interesting to watch, what it does over the next 10 days. Don't think it's going to get that strong, but it will be a strong wave, meaning it could become a tropical storm. Now the next system, right here, is going to be this Caribbean system and the Gulf of Mexico system. These are our closest United States threats. These are going to try and have a Fuji-War interaction, meaning they're going to spin around one another, and then it could go on to impact Louisiana and Texas. If it does, we'll have a live stream on that. Doesn't seem so within the next 5 days, though, so we're good on that. Now going over to our system off the coast of the mid-Atlantic, that system is currently becoming frontal, embedding itself in front, so don't have much faith in it developing fully. Alright, next let's go over to Lepi. I showed you all that. That's heading out to sea. Shouldn't be much. Oh yeah, actually that's headed over towards Alaska, so that will be fun. Alright, then let's go over to 94W, which this system isn't really expected to do much anymore. It seemed like it could, but chances have lowered. Then we have 95W, which is going to be a threat over the next 10 days. Definitely something to watch. I don't think a stream is needed at all. It all depends on if it hits Guam dead on. Alright, and then lastly, let's go over onto Typhoon Yagi. The system should make, or it is making landfall. That much is clear. Let me turn off radar. Oops, sorry. There it is. And so another landfall is totally possible. If I pull that up on here, it is possible to occur around 10 a.m. or so. Don't know how likely though. Like, it could skim just south. So because of that, we're not going to be doing a stream on that landfall. Hopefully you all can be okay with that. I know it's like 3:30 a.m. for me. And someone says don't need another Mawar with 95W. True. That is a strong signal though. But we will likely need a landfall. Or sorry, oh my god, it's late. We will probably likely need a stream for its landfall, either in Vietnam or far southern China. Timing is uncertain. The Icon model once at around 2 a.m., so 24 hours ish. The GFS, same thing. In terms of the forecast from the JTWC, they want it around 5 o'clock. So I'll have around another 24 hours, so be prepared for another stream to occur. It shouldn't collapse, and it could still be a major. So, I will see you all later. Let's see how long this stream's been going on for. Around 90 minutes. Nice. Alright, I'll see you all later. Stay safe. Yep, and I'll see you in the next storm. Goodbye.